we back? Sorry about that. So my monitor turned off, and for whatever reason it froze my streaming software. How annoying. Right, sorry about that. I've still got the chat up. I've not lost the chat, so I'm still in the same place as I was before. How good was the Titan vacuum you just mentioned? It's great for like sucking up sludge. It was okay for vacuuming out sort of standard residential gutters and stuff, but as soon as you get to a big job, it starts to struggle. You know, anything over maybe 20 foot, it starts to struggle. Are we back? Just type in the chat if you can hear me, because this is strange. I've got the KM 3400P to start up. Is that worthy of a buffer tank? I would say so. The water return valve. If you can get a local shop to fit your water return valve, you could probably do it yourself, to be fair. It looked quite simple from what I could see. Thanks for being so honest about your finances. I understand it's probably uncomfortable. However, here to talk about business, and that's what most people are in business for. So thanks again. No worries. I use the VTUF buffer tank, so it's good. So that VTUF buffer tank, aren't they like 400 quid? That seems like a lot to me. When you, like, I literally made one for 90 quid. I don't know if I'm live, no one's talking. I can't tell. I think everyone left. What do they call it? A Bowser. Look at that. £401, including VAT. Doesn't that seem insane for a wheelie bin? Oh, the chat is no longer available. I'm looking at the wrong chat, aren't I? I know what I'm doing, guys. I'm reading the chat from the old stream. And of course, none of you are talking in that chat because it's from the other one. I'm an absolute donut. I'm a dinky donut. Ah, there you are. I can see you now. He's back. Sorry about that, guys. There you are. That's better. Got all that because my monitor turned off. How frustrating. How good was the Titan vacuum? It was decent. For the smaller jobs, it was alright. It sucked up all the sludge from the pressure washing if I ever got into something with poor drainage, and it did alright on the gutters. If you've got a solid attachment and a decent hose, to be honest, for the price, I don't know, it's a bit of a difference. If you're going to buy the poles anyway, it's 80 quid or 70 quid for the Titan vacuum versus 460 quid for a proper gutter vacuum. Similar power, really, but you get a nicer hose with it. Like with a proper gutter vacuum, you get a proper 50mm hose that connects to 50mm poles. I don't know. If you're just starting out, the Titan might be okay for a couple of months, but as soon as the money starts rolling in, you're going to probably want to upgrade pretty quickly, in my experience. Sorry about the technical issues. That's really annoying. Yeah, my monitor literally timed out and it froze the stream. Sorry for the questions, but when you first started, how did you get your first 10 jobs? Literally just friends and family. So I did my nan's house, then my nan's neighbour wanted it doing. I did my mum's house, I did my sister's decking, and then after doing my mum's house, 2 people from the street wanted theirs doing. They had one of them had a rear patio, the other one had a drive that needed cleaning. And then when my mum shared my before and after pictures on her Facebook, three other friends needed theirs doing. Literally just word of mouth. I was posting all of my before and after pictures on my Facebook page, and all of my friends and family started sharing stuff, and it just snowballed. And now I'm just doing regular videos, regular pictures, little 60-second reels just to show what I've been up to and show the transformation. Nice, quick, concise, straight to the point, satisfying videos to watch, and they've been booming. They've been going really well. Don't be sorry for all the questions, Sam. This is the exact reason that I'm doing a live stream, so please get them all out. If there's anything you're thinking that you've been wanting to ask for a while, ask someone, you know, in the industry. There's a chance I might be able to answer it for you, so just let me know. I use a Blur Henry wet and dry vac for gutters, and it's been so perfect so far. I can't justify the expense upgrading yet. A Henry wet and dry vac. I've heard of Henry. I used to have a Henry. One of these? What do you mean Blur? Is that the name of the brand? Is it literally one of these? From Argos? The only issue with this for gutter cleaning is that hose is not, it's not like 50mm, it's not 51mm. Like all the poles that you buy are about 50mm. And so you'd be reducing it down, which is the problem I had with the Titan hose. You're reducing it down to about 38mm. And so you're going to get blockages in this nose hole. He's cute though, isn't he? Is that the one you used? Oh, blue. Blue Henry wet and dry vac. Is it literally just the colour blue? That one. I mean, what 9 litres wet capacity, 1000 watt. So it's probably it's slightly underpowered. I mean, it's very underpowered compared to the 1500 watt Titan. Do you run Facebook ads? If so, how much do you spend on a daily basis? No. I've tried Facebook ads twice. The first time I spent about 25 quid. And the second time I spent about 15 quid. And they got me a bit of work, to be fair. But just since then, I've not felt the need. I regularly get people getting in touch, asking for quotes, almost every day now, I'd say. Like today, I had 3 messages from people asking for quotes. Well, like I said, I don't think my situation is like a true reflection on someone who's just started their pressure washing business. I think this is built over the last 2 years, and I focus like heavy on the social media aspect, on all the videos and the pictures, and so it's just starting to pay off this year, I think. Loving the live streams. My girlfriend's asking me why I'm watching, but she doesn't understand the help you're giving. I'm glad you find it useful. It can be daunting because there's so many questions, and like how do you Google some of those questions? Like they're so specific to your situation. You sort of do need, like I understand, you sort of do need someone that's been in the industry for like 4 or 5 years. It'd be great if you could just have them to sit in front of you and you could just vent to them, ask them everything that's been on your mind, and you'll probably get some perfect answers because they've done it all, they've been through it. There's loads of things I wouldn't be able to answer, but for the ones that I can, feel free to fire away and I'll do my best. It saves you having to go through it all then and failing. Like every time you fail, you should treat that as a learning experience, and the more times you fail, the closer you are to succeeding. But it's always very helpful if you can learn from other people's mistakes as well. So the Titan is, I got the big boy. Oh, I got the big jobby. I thought I got the 30 litre, or I must have got the 40 litre. 40 litre, 1500 watt wet and dry vac, and that suffers with the same issue. It's only got like a 38mm inlet. The blue is 50mm. Oh, there you go then. They are then. Blue, Henry, wet and dry. Do you know what kind of wattage yours was, or is? What's the most expensive one they do? Oh, Sophie's brother's just got a new carpet cleaner. He's just been on a course to get his from Nord. I think it's NJORD. Nord Chemicals. So these people, carpet cleaners, they do all these carpet cleaning chemicals, and they offer a course. And he went on it, and now he's done it. He's bought his carpet cleaning. I was thinking about carpet cleaning for the winter before I settled on gutter cleaning. I thought, what's within this industry that isn't straying too far out, that's going to keep me going through the winter. I thought, oh, indoors over winter I could be doing carpet cleaning. But I thought I don't want to be worrying about having to move people's furniture and, you know, cleaning blood and urine and feces and ugh. I don't know. I don't think it's a job that I could. You know, you get to a job and there's like a wardrobe and a sofa and stuff that you didn't expect to be there. This room was supposed to be clear. And it's like it's got stuff everywhere. Oh, it's pretty clear. Maybe you could start in that corner and then we'll move the settee over there and then you could do that corner. It's like, no, that's not how it works. The room needs to be clear. I don't know. I settled on after I spoke to my mum about it actually. My mum totally put me off carpet cleaning. And it's a pretty big investment. I mean, so is gutter cleaning really. But I felt like carpet cleaning was a whole different body of knowledge that you had to learn. Whereas gutter cleaning, it's sort of within a similar field as pressure washing. What is the best litre per minute jet wash? That's an impossible question, really, because they all have their purposes. It depends on what you're trying to clean, how you're trying to clean it, what sort of nozzles you're using, how many people you've got working with you. You know, you could go up to like 40 litres per minute. But do you have a water supply that can keep up with 40 litres per minute? Have you got two people using two lances from the same machine at the same time? It depends what you're cleaning. Generally, most people, if they've got a decent startup fund, you're going to want to go in at around about 15 litres per minute to 21 litres per minute. I'm in the position now where I've been using 15 litres per minute for about a year, and just for the sake of convenience I'm looking at upgrading to something like 21 to 25 litres per minute maybe, just so that I can get things done a bit quicker. It's totally unnecessary. I'm doing perfectly fine with 15 litres per minute. So I'd probably aim for that if I were to suggest someone going into the business now. You've got a little bit of money behind you. Most people go for the Honda GX 390 with either a 21 litre per minute or a 30 litre 15 litre per minute or a 21 litre per minute pump. So you'd be looking at something like that. Here's one from AC Pressure Washers. The reason most people recommend Honda is because that engine is bulletproof. It will last forever. Paired with like an interpump. What have they got on this? This one's got a reduction gearbox as well, which you'd expect. Pump is a VTUF triplex pump. Don't know anything about them. But that one's quite expensive because it comes with a surface cleaner as well, by the looks of it. Looks like it's a bit more of a package. Are you Dobbin? You're right. Are you planning on doing these on a weekly basis? Would be great to ask you questions, get advice like you said, can't Google these things. Yeah, I'd like to do these every Monday night. The last 3 have been on Monday nights. Because Monday night I'll post a new video at about 5:30. I'm trying to stick to 5:30 every Monday. I'll post a new video. And then about 7:30, when Maya's gone to bed, I'll jump on the live stream. That's the plan anyway. How do you price for gutter cleaning? This is a service I'd like to offer soon. So my price starts from £55 front and back to vacuum the gutters out, because it's fairly quick once you've got your kit together and you've got like a workflow. you can clean out someone's gutters in less than an hour. You know, unpack, set up, vacuum them out, pack back up. Less than an hour, you can get some gutters cleared. So that's like on your average house, about 55 quid. That's maybe one row of gutters on the top, on the front, sorry, one row on the back, and then maybe like a little garage or like maybe not a conservatory gutter. I haven't got, you can tell I haven't got a structure for my pricing just yet for the gutters. Some people price it per meter, like clip to clip. Yeah, starts from 55 quid. And then gutters, faces and soffit washes, I start from about 75 quid. I think I'm pretty cheap on that. People have told me I'm quite cheap. You're better off asking someone who does that sort of stuff more regularly than me. I do it quite often, but not as regular as pressure washing. You might be better off asking like a window cleaner or someone about that sort of pricing. I really appreciate your live streams, the knowledge you impart, as well as the people commenting. I'm an enthusiast. Cleaning is like my golf. Thinking of starting up soon. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad you find it useful. That's funny that cleaning is like a hobby for you. That's cool. Yeah. My goal with these streams is that people take something worthwhile from them. It's not for everyone. Like I appreciate talking about this sort of stuff can be boring for people who, like your girlfriend, Sam. It's boring for people who aren't interested in maybe doing this as a living at some point. I do get it, but this is my niche, isn't it? That's why you've got to find your niche. This feels like I'm contributing something now, so that's from the feedback you guys have given me on this stream, on previous streams, on all the comments on my videos and stuff. Feels like I'm actually contributing something, which is the goal. By the way, at the beginning of the stream, 15% at 5-to-1 ratio, as I understand, is 5 plus 1 equals 6. So 15 divided by 6 is 2.5%. So 5 plus 1, because it's 5 litres of water plus 1 litre of hypo. 15% divided by 6. Charlie, that's if that's like a, because that sounds about right. If that's like a rule of thumb that I can work it out like that, that's cool. Good to know. Dobbin, what's been going on? What have you been up to? Under Pressure asks, is there an attachment you can get to allow you to fix nozzles into the gun as opposed to the long lance? Is there an attachment you can get to allow you to fix nozzles into the gun? Is there an attachment? Well, instead of, as far as I understand, you're thinking of a mini trigger. So instead of having a long lance, is this what you're after? I've got one of these for cleaning like the tops of walls and stuff. So that's the same as a lance. It's literally exactly the same as a lance. It's just a little stubby one. Nasty, what's going on? You all right? Great to see the stream is kicking off. Is it kicking off? I can't even see the view count at the minute. Oh, we've got a fair few people in here. Considering we had technical issues, it's going well. My monitor turned off because it timed out. And it paused the stream. It like froze everything. So that was annoying. And then I started reading the chat from the old live stream, and I was wondering why no one was talking to me. I was saying, am I live? What's going on? Is anyone here? And people were talking in the new chat, and I didn't have the new chat on my screen. So yeah, it was a big kerfuffle. We're over it now, we're through it. You bought a Jaguar Cub carpet machine and sold it soon after. The moving of the furniture and stubborn stains made it more hassle than it's worth. Ah, that was literally my that was my thought process. Well, after you know, my mum sort of nudged me in the right direction. She said, I don't think you're going to enjoy carpet cleaning. She's probably right. Shane says, it's been great. Like I've said before, very informative, and thanks for taking the time out to answer everyone. That's okay. I'm literally trying to go through systematically because I know how it feels. Like I'm a bit of a geek, and I watch video game live streams. I watch people playing the most boring survival game. There's a game out there that's played on PC called DayZ, and it's a zombie survival apocalypse. People are running. You could be running for 3 hours and not see another player. And I'll watch these live streams, people playing these games, and I type in the chat, say, how you doing? You alright? What's up? And my comment gets missed. It's like, shit, they didn't see it. So I type in again, how's it going? You alright? Maybe ask a question. My comment gets missed again. It's like the chat's still rolling. And it's not their fault, they've got a lot of people talking to them. But when you're taking the time to type these things, it's nice when people get around to answering them. So I'm coming from a position of the viewer, so I'm trying to go through every single question, because I understand how frustrating it is when your questions get skipped. So I'm doing my best. It's manageable at this size. Like if I get more viewers than this, and more people asking questions, it's going to start to get very difficult. And then it's going to take me a long time to start to answer questions. You'll ask something, and then half an hour will go by, and I'll finally get to your question. But this is nice. This is a good number, I think. Need to clean copings on top of garden room. Need to clean copings on top of garden room. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was using it in one of my recent videos. The only problem I found with the mini trigger is that it's got quite a lot of kickback. You need to either turn the pressure on the machine or turn the revs on the machine way down to be able to use it with one hand, like you'd imagine you'd be able to do it. But if you've got your revs turned way up, like I'm normally using my Lance, so I've got everything turned way up. If you try and do that with the mini trigger, it's gonna come out your hand. So you need to literally use it with two hands, pushing down, and you're gonna get a lot of spray. If you're washing something that close, regardless of what it is, you're gonna get a lot of spraying back in your face. This was the video at the start where I was using it on the top of some walls. There we go, look. It had a turbo nozzle on it as well. Wasn't too bad with the turbo nozzle because it tends to sort of spread the flow. But if you're using a fan jet, it's all sort of focused in one position. You can see I'm using two hands pushing down quite a lot. They're quite difficult to maneuver on full pressure. Do you like the new Spigot Lances, as I recently got them from PWS Game Changer? I would say also, would you recommend the hose from PWS? Looking at getting one. My hose is great from PWS. It's one of them two wire hoses. The fact that it's heavy is probably a good sign. I'm very happy with it so far. I've only had it a couple of months and it's been great. I've not used the spigot lances yet. Sorry, I did use a spigot lance on that machine I rented. I didn't rent it, it was like a sponsored video. My only issue with it is that it spins. The lance isn't fixed because of the spigot. You could spin the lance with that hand and still have the trigger in the same position, which I didn't really like, to be honest. Coming from a fixed lance. Maybe I would like it, I'd need to get used to it, but I used it for like half a day and I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I can see the appeal of the quick connect. Also, the one that I was using leaked slightly as well. From the spigot, it was leaking. So that was a bit weird. What's your opinion on naming my business No Pressure Exterior Cleaning? Do you think it implies too much that I don't use pressure washing equipment, or do you think it's a good play on words? No pressure. No pressure. I like it. It could be, yeah, it could be misread as like a soft washing service rather than a pressure washing service. You could do like what's like a picture that you could put with no pressure? Spelt that wrong. You could have like a guy sort of saluting or something like that. No pressure, no sweat. I don't know. I think it's a good play on words. It might get misread. Q spigot gun with a short adapter and allows a long lance with the same fitting. Most people use. Yeah. So if you've got all the attachments and stuff to be able to use that gun, yeah, you could pop the long piece of the lance off and just put a stubby, just put a standard jet on there. A standard nozzle on there, and you've got a stubby adapter then. But I had different sort of quick release fittings and a different lance and stuff. I never went down that route. I think it's because I got a cheaper machine. When you get a more expensive machine, you get those as standard, I think. Naming a business is the hardest part, and creating a logo. And also, when it comes to naming a business, like I think potentially Smelts Pressure Washing is quite obscure, and it's something that I think would look good as a franchise. When you look at things like McDonald's or Wix, or what was the other one? I was thinking of one the other day. Something like the German names. I think Smelt or Smelts, which is my surname. I'm not German. I think the words look quite good. Yeah, I could see it as like a franchise or a brand. I could see the word Smelt as a brand. And I wanted to use the family name because I wanted to do the family proud. But if the direction of the business is just to be like a local small town pressure washer, window cleaner, you might want to just use your full name or your initials. I'm no expert, but yeah, it seems better to me. Do you watch TRMZ? I do. Bare Bones. You watch The Running Man? I do. He's one of my favourites. I met him in game once. I used to live stream DayZ as well. My favourites are Potato, The Running Man. I've started watching a bit of Lottie recently. Love watching Lyric play DayZ whenever he does. There's a chap called Joshua as well that streams DayZ that I've been watching lately. Have you had a go over with the floor sprayer multiple times, or do you just use it once? The floor sprayer. David, can you be more specific? Do you mean chemical application, or do you mean the flat surface cleaner? I'm assuming you mean the flat surface cleaner. It depends on the surface. Generally, most surfaces you're gonna want to go over it multiple times, at least 2, in both directions. So one going forward and backwards, and another going side to side. All pressure washing quick connectors are a lifesaver. Anyone starting out should get some 3/8 inch for hose to machine and gun, 1/4 inch for gun ends to make life so much easier. Yeah, I don't know what mine are, because you can get 2 different sizes with the you know, the high pressure hose that goes into the bottom of your lance. With the quick connectors, the one that I did a sponsored video on was massive compared to the one I use. So the one I'm using is probably restricting the flow quite a lot. I think I'm using the 3/8 inch. Welcome, Matisse. The flat surface cleaner. Yeah, most surfaces you're gonna want to go over at least twice to avoid leaving streaks, or like tram lines. Things like concrete and stuff can etch quite easily as well, so you're going to want to turn the pressure down and go in multiple directions. Maybe do figure of 8s. I had that problem recently when I was doing some tarmac. I showed you guys on the last stream, but my surface cleaner had a blocked jet because my unloader valve spring disintegrated and blocked one of the jets up. How do I get rid of this? Oh, like that. That's what's happened to my tool station hose, by the way. I got a big banana in it. So this is what happens when I tried the figure of 8 method for the first time, and that wouldn't normally happen. The reason that happened is because I had a blocked jet, and I think it wasn't greased enough, and so it was spinning slowly as well. And then I went over it again a couple of days later, because you don't see this until it dries. I went over it again, doing the front and back, side to side, and I ended up leaving lines again because my surface cleaner wasn't doing what it should be doing. Got the surface cleaner fixed. It's working perfectly now, but I thought rather than mess this girl around, she's an old friend. She eventually wanted the tarmac sealing anyway, so I thought I'm just going to bite the bullet, seal the tarmac for her, get the result, make sure she's happy. I think it was worth doing. To be fair, she offered to pay for the materials on that as well. I did the quote for the tarmac sealing. She couldn't afford the tarmac sealing, so she just went for the pressure washing all over, and then I sanded and sealed the blocks, but she couldn't afford the tarmac sealing. But since it went so badly, I thought I'll do the tarmac sealing for free. But bless her, she paid for the materials, so that was nice. And then I spent a lot of money getting my equipment serviced, so it was an expensive week. I have the perfect family name for a franchise, Washington, but called Washi for short. That's good. Washington's washing service. Washi's good. I like that. That's a strong name. Hose blister. Just pop it. That's what blisters are for. If you pop it, will the water come out though? Why would you do figure of 8? So a lot of people suggest that on tarmac, to avoid leaving tram lines, and on concrete as well, that you should do a figure of 8 method. This is a terrible example because you're not going to see, you can't see that it's effective. But if my surface cleaner was working properly, this would look probably perfect. The only issue I've got with the figure of 8 method is that it's hard enough when I'm going forwards and back, side to side. It's hard enough to follow the lines and not miss any bits, because as soon as tarmac gets wet, it all looks the same. So I try and work from the lowest point upwards so that I can see where I've been. So I've got the lowest point is wet, I'm working wet, 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 and everything above me is dry. But with the figure of 8 method, it's very easy to miss little triangles. As you're going in multiple directions, it's very easy to, say for example, I can't zoom in, but you might be left with little triangles that you've just ever so slightly missed. Washi's exterior cleaning. I like that. Good name. Washi washing tons of driveways. I earn 26k a year at my job. Would swapping to this be more profitable? My stepdad owns a patio laying business and he gets 2 to 4 pressure washing jobs a week but turns them down. That is your in. That is your opportunity to have an opportunity like that in the family. To start your pressure washing business, I think would be ideal, even if you begin it on evenings and weekends. If he can accept those pressure washing jobs and you have the time to do it on a weekend, if it's 2 to 4 a week, that's probably quite manageable for you. So it's worth doing it on the side. For the equipment that you'll invest in up front, you'll make the money back on that equipment within the first week easily, if you're pricing these jobs properly. So yeah, definitely give it a go, and it's very, very doable to make more than 26k a year. And it's not all about money, sometimes it's about freedom as well. Hello, Mishi.
Hello.
Long day?
Very.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah. What time did you leave the house this morning?
4 to 6.
Hello. Safe's been working at a show with her friends. They sell strawberries with melted chocolate. And they sell loads of like garden furniture and stuff, and she's been doing a show. And she left the house at 5:45 this morning. Oh, she's got a new bed. The dog's got
massive compared to the other one.
I bet she loves that. I bet she's going to chew it.
Reckon?
Yeah. Left the house at 5:45 this morning, and she's only just got back.
And I had very little sleep last night because I was really awake all night.
What a long day. Hashtag gamer. Oh, I'm reading that wrong. I thought
GMR.
your comment. Yeah, I thought your comment was hashtag gamer, but that's actually part of your name. Hashtag GMR.
Well.
We were just talking about games. What insurance do you need when you're starting, and how much are they roughly? So you'll need in the UK, you'll need public liability insurance, and as soon as you start earning over £1,000, you'll need to be registered as a business, which is easier to do than it sounds. I put stuff like that off all the time because I don't have the patience to sit down in front of a computer and go through on a website and type in all my details and all that sort of stuff. So I put those sort of things off for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when I actually get around to doing it and biting the bullet, it takes me, less than an hour, and then it's done. And now you're a registered business.
Understand.
Yeah. Maybe book a few days off every week and give it a try. Yep, I thoroughly recommend it. Public liability insurance can be upwards of about £12 a month, depending on what you're covered for. How many jobs do you think?
That's the cat.
She's not in here, I don't think.
I just heard her.
How many jobs do you think that don't accept your quote? I'm worried about pricing too high and not getting any work. Well, when you're first starting out, I wouldn't worry too much about the pricing too high. I'd price competitively when you're first starting out. And then when you've got enough experience behind you, you know your chemicals, you know how long jobs are going to take you, you've experienced multiple different surface types, so you know how they clean, how well they're doing, how well they do, how well they come up. Once you've got all that experience, you can then justify pricing higher.
Going.
You're right.
I'm knackered. I just need this food and to get into bed.
All right. Kiss my head. That food's nice, isn't it? I'm going to go pop your head into Maya to make sure she's asleep.
She's brain just gone down.
She went down about an hour ago, but she's been up and down all night. She could be sat in her windowsill for all night, for all I know, looking at the moon. Oh, my knees. Yeah, once you're experienced with different surface types, you're experienced with your chemicals, and you know that you can achieve perfect results for this customer. Like I'm in no I can't talk. I'm getting tired. When I look at a job, I can tell the customer very clearly. I can set their expectations, and I can very confidently say, this is going to look perfect when it's done, or there's going to be a few imperfections here, here, and here because of this, this, and this. And when you get to that point, you can start justifying higher pricing. At the beginning, I would suggest just cover your costs, make sure it's worth your time, and that's all you need to worry about. Ideally, try and get it to pay for your equipment. I'm gonna start doing it weekends. Work then, business gets too much just for weekends. I'll quit my day job. That's what I did. So I was working a full-time job. I've said this before. Working a full-time job. I've got a mortgage. I've got 2 kids. I've got a dog and a cat. I could not afford for this business to fail. It had to work. And so I did it properly. I had a full-time job. I was doing jobs on evenings and weekends. It was tough because there's only a certain amount of hours in the day. I still need to spend time with the kids and all that sort of stuff. I got all my finances straight. Not to say I didn't have any debts, but the debts I did have, I tried to reduce payments. I tried to pay off what I could. Reduce as many direct debits coming out every month as I possibly could. We all get into those positions where we've got things on finance, or we've got little bits going out here and there, like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that sort of stuff. I just cancelled. I think I had a month or 2 months worth of wages, probably just a month actually, a month's worth of wages behind me. And I had a month's worth of work booked in the calendar. And it was the start of pressure washing season. So just like this time last year, it was about April the 1st, I think I left my job, around about then. And that is like when pressure washing season is kicking off. And so I thought, I've got savings behind me. I've got a month's worth of work booked in. I've bought all the equipment I need to buy, so I've not got any more outgoings. I'm not going to buy a van. I'm not going to buy this and that because I already bought it with all the money I made last year. If there's ever a time to leave my job and start my business, it's now. And so I just did it. And I was confident because I'd done everything right. If it failed, it was because I didn't put in enough effort. I did everything I should have done, and that's why it's been good to me so far. And that's not me being cocky, that's me just saying if you do things right, it'll pay off. If you just go and quit your job and expect the phone to start ringing because you've created a new Facebook page for your business, it's just not going to happen. We need a video about starting a business next. Yeah, maybe that's a good topic for the next video. We'll see. Has anyone got any, speaking of videos, is anything specific that you guys want me to, I haven't done any filming or editing for Monday's video for next week. So if you've got any ideas like starting a business, that's a good video idea. If there's anything else you want me to look into doing, let me know. Not that I'm running out of video ideas, I've got loads of video ideas, but I want to know what's in demand. That's my exact plan. Comic, good to hear. Sam asks, can you clean concrete with just a lance, or is it a bad idea? It's not a bad idea. You can do probably a 25-degree fan jet on a lance, and you probably want to post treat with sodium hypochlorite because you'll probably end up with streaking from the lance. Going back and forward, it's quite difficult on concrete not to streak it. You don't want to get too close because you can etch concrete as well. If you get too close, especially with the surface cleaner as well, if you use your surface cleaner on full pressure on concrete, there's a chance you can etch it. I saw a post on one of the American pages, and someone had cleaned concrete, this massive concrete drive. They'd cleaned it with the surface cleaner. I think it said like 8 months after it was laid. And concrete, apparently I learnt this the other day, concrete needs 2 years to properly cure before you can pressure wash it, else you will etch it. And this guy had etched this whole driveway, wondered why his chemical application didn't remove the streaks, and it turned out I think it was just going to be an insurance job. I don't know whether it's something to do with the concrete sealer or something. I don't know, or whether it's just literally the concrete still curing. No idea. My current job is about £120 a day. Do you think it's possible to make that? So about £2 a month. Oh, easily, yeah. Perhaps not in your first year. You've got to consistently make 120 quid a day, 5 days a week. Perhaps you're not going to do that on the, you know, it's difficult to say. If you're doing things on the side and you're posting your before and after pictures, you're doing good advertising, good marketing, because it depends how much you're spending. It's no good earning £120 a day if you're spending £50 a day on advertising. You know what I mean? I don't know. It depends what you're expecting. If you're expecting to do that in your, it depends how you leave your job. It depends on your circumstances. It's very difficult to say. I started 1 year ago this week, Lewis says. I was 18, now I'm 19. Made sure that I made all the money back on the equipment I bought. Then anything else was a bonus. Done countless days of leaflet jobs with no customers. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been there, mate. To be honest, leaflets I'm not convinced on leaflets now. I had a chat with my accountant. Jordan, thanks for the sub. In the right areas, leaflets can be great. You know, where there's old people, they're not on social media. They've got these massive great houses with massive drives, and they all know each other. Leaflets are a great idea, but I'm not really targeting those customers. And that's the other thing, with the first year that I was earning on the side doing pressure washing, I didn't take any of that money as profit. I didn't spend any of that money. I put it all back into the business, and I bought upgraded equipment, and I bought my van. And I tried not to get anything on finance. People go different routes. Some people will get a van on finance. They'll get all this nice fancy pressure washing equipment, and it means they'll never have to upgrade again because they bought it all in one go, and it's all on finance. But it means you're then under pressure to make sure you're earning enough every month to pay those direct debits. So I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to buy everything outright. But people go down different routes, and people are successful in different ways. There's not one way. So just keep that in mind. Just because I did something, my journey is going to be... Thanks, Alex. My journey is going to be totally different from your journey. So just bear that in mind. You'd like to see a video about sealing? I can do that. It's weird with the sealing, because now that I've been on that... now that I've been on the Pure Seal course, the approved applicator course, I feel strange about making a video with any information about sealing in it, because I learned most of... that's not true. I learned probably about 50% of what I knew about sealing through that course. So if then I'm giving you that information for free, information that's come from a paid course, it's a bit of a conflict. So I might have to talk to them about that. Can you please keep this live stream on your channel? Yeah, of course. I think these live streams automatically upload after I end them. This one will be split into two because I had a slight technical issue halfway through. Now, 1 year later, I'm booked up until August. Awesome. That's really good to hear. How many jobs can you do in a day? I guess it depends on the size. Yes, it does. Depends on the size, depends on the drainage, depends on how easy it is to clean up after myself, because that's the main thing. The pressure washing can take half an hour, but then dealing with a blocked drain, or dealing with standing water, or dealing with no drainage at all, and you've got to sweep the whole area and then rinse it down multiple times because there's puddles. You know, if you leave puddles of dirty water, it's just going to dry dirty. And so your nice new block paved drive that you just cleaned has got puddles of dirt on it. It's very difficult with... I mean, I did 3 jobs today. I'll show you what I did. I've already shown people earlier in the stream, but I did this one today. Average sized rear block paved area. Again, this one had terrible drainage. I had a big pool of water in the middle here. I had a little pool of water over here, and I had a massive pool of water here, and there's the drain. So the drain was the highest point of the patio, which is counterintuitive. That came up well. And then I did this, just path and all the wood around the outside, and this grimy, grubby lamppost. And then I went to a previous job that I did a couple of days ago because it was nice and warm. I went to resand that driveway. So essentially 3 jobs in a day, and I was still done by... I didn't start till 9, and I was done by about 3. So you can fit a fair amount in if you've got like a decent workflow. and if the jobs are all close to each other, I suppose. But I'm not pushing myself. Like I'm not trying to squeeze stuff in. I'm just making sure that the jobs I am booking in, if it's my only job for the day, I'm making sure I've got more than a day's, more than a day rate in it. If I'm doing a job like some gutters or whatever, that's only going to take me half a day. Gutters, fascias, soffits, vacuuming it all out, all, the full works. If it's only going to take me half a day, I'm making sure I've got at least half a day rate in there, and then I can fit something else in the afternoon. I think that's quite common sense, but I might be explaining. I might be telling you to suck eggs here. I don't know. What's the best way to advertise? I got some flyers done, but not getting much back from them. To be honest, Conrad, I don't rate flyers. They've not worked for my business. I only did one round of flyers and it was a total waste of time. I didn't get one customer from it. People advertise in different ways. A lot of people really rate Google ads, Facebook ads. I'm not advertising at all at the minute. I'm just posting before and afters, and I'm posting 60-second reels on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and that seems to be working. I think the majority of my work is word of mouth, to be honest. What happens if you etch concrete? It's permanently damaged. You damage the top layer of the concrete. You essentially blowing out, I think you're blowing out the aggregate in the top of the concrete, and so those areas where you've blown all the aggregate out, it leaves a streak. I don't know how you'd repair that, other than maybe going over it again and etching the whole surface so it all looks even. I don't know. I'm in my second year now, and I've paid nothing for advertising. I'm booked up for the next 3 weeks with great leads for further job. I'm in a very similar position, Michael. I'm on my second year. Paid very little for advertising. What I have paid for advertising hasn't really benefited me that much. If you do a great job and you keep your portfolio pictures and you share them occasionally on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you do a great job, people talk, and people will recommend you to their friends and family. It happens with most of my customers. Literally most of my customers will recommend me to someone else. I never thought that would be the case, because how many people really need pressure washing work done? Well, you'll be surprised. When someone gets something done and they're really happy with it, you want it done just because your mum's had it done or something. Or when when like a middle-aged chap gets his driveway cleaned and he can see you're a nice guy, you do a good job, you tidy up after yourself and stuff, he'll be so comfortable then recommending you to his retired 80-year-old mum who's vulnerable and who could do with her patio, cleaning. It's not often you find people in trades like this. Maybe I'm not entirely accurate, but from what I've seen, people in like construction and people in like commercial trade, trade guys, I've not met many that I'd want to work at my nan's house. You know what I mean? So it's important for me to be that guy that's trustworthy, reliable, turns up on time, cleans up after yourself, you're polite, all that sort of stuff. If you read the reviews on my Facebook and on my Google page and stuff, most of the reviews, like they all say about, they're really happy, the work was great, all that sort of stuff. But most of them, my sister mentioned this the other day, most of them comment on my character in some way. They'll say something like he's really approachable, nothing's too much, really honest. They drop these little bits in that let me know that I'm doing the right thing as someone who's employed to work at this person's house. I don't want some dodgy guy turning up at my house, and if he looks dodgy, I'm certainly not going to recommend him to my mum. You know what I mean? You want to be that person that, in my opinion, you want to be that person that you would recommend to your nan. I hope that makes sense. I went off on a bit of a rant. I'm sorry. What's been your most profitable week pressure washing? Probably some of the commercial work that I've done. It's hard to say really. The last 2 months have been insane. The last 2 months have been my highest earning months of my entire life, and I'm 31, so things are going well. Chemicals to use on all different surfaces would be a great video. Concrete, block paving, decking, fencing. Again, yeah, I'd love to do that video, but again, we learned a lot of that on the course that I went on for Pure Seal. So there's a bit of a conflict there in the information that I've gained on that course. Is it fair to then put it in a free video for you guys? A lot of it I did know already, but they don't know that. Do you make more money from social media ad revenue on your videos than actual job? I'm very interested in doing the same eventually. Multiple sources of income is the dream. No, definitely not more. No, we discussed the TikTok and YouTube money earlier. No, it's a decent amount. It's a nice passive income, and that's what I wanted. I've always wanted to get to a point eventually where the passive income is more than what I'm earning from physical work. I'm nowhere near that yet, but it's nice to have. Do you do any commercial work for businesses, and if yes, how do you go about getting those jobs? So I'm in a weird thought process when it comes to commercial work at the minute. I have done a bunch of commercial work. I've done commercial gutters for multiple schools, some large schools. And I've done commercial car parks. My friend has a grounds maintenance business, and he's got some quite high profile clients, so he passes work to me through from them. And I think with commercial work, you want a really impressive website, and you probably want to be on LinkedIn. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of LinkedIn. I'm not on that at the moment because I'm not targeting commercial work, and I don't have a fancy website. So these big commercial, like I'm not necessarily in a position to take on massive commercial jobs. My equipment just isn't. My van isn't big enough. My equipment isn't powerful enough to take on massive jobs. So I'm not targeting those jobs at the minute. Do you price higher for commercial work? No, if anything, I price lower. I still price per square meter, but I lower my rate per square meter because the area is massive compared to a standard driveway, and so I'm trying to give the customer value. Say this block paving, for example. I think this block paving was around about Do you want to go through the pricing for this block paving job that I've done? Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that, because I've got the quote on the laptop somewhere. But if I'm charging, for example, £4 per square meter to clean and resand this drive, I might drop that down to like £3.50 per square meter if this was a commercial job, but it was like 5 or 6, 10 times the size, because it's a bigger area. The only issue with that is you need to account for your fuel and the cost of the sand. Cost of the sand on a massive car park, on a massive block paved car park, you might need like a ton of sand. And I don't know how it works with like a ton of kiln dried sand in a big bulk bag. You need to make sure you're getting that from a reputable supplier, because if it turns up and it's damp, if it turns up on a wet day or something, it's there's so many factors when it comes to commercial work. It's quite nerve-wracking, to be honest. I just really quickly made a rough website for you, obviously nowhere near done as your logo isn't loaded properly or anything like that. Would you want to check it out quickly? JJ, I appreciate it. If the purpose is for me to pay you to design a website, then thank you for the offer, but I'm not interested at the moment. 1, because I'm tight, and 2, because I'm happy with the work that I've got coming in at the minute. Like I said, I'm not necessarily targeting commercial work, but thank you. I actually started making a website. Do you want to see it? Website project. I don't even know if I was coding it from scratch, but I don't know where the file is. What was I doing it in Visual Studio? I started learning coding to I haven't loaded this up in a while. Look at all this. This is all my work. I did all this from scratch. I'm very pleased with myself because I've never coded anything before. I did a bit of game development, but it was all visual coding in Unreal Engine. How do I launch this index? I can't even remember how to launch it. Run? No. I can, yeah, I'll check it out just for fun, of course. JJ, how do you run a HTML? Oh, here we go. This is my website I started making. It don't look too bad, does it? Everything works. Got all my before and afters with my people like to steal before and afters, so I've had to put all these watermarks over them. All my reviews. The thing with the website, you've got to keep updating it, and it's quite a lot of work. Contact, scan your QR code. You can try and send a link. Do you still work in the rain? Yeah, it's actually, I find it easier in the rain. Maybe not easier, but I'm getting wet anyway. So there's no reason to not work in the rain. If anything, it helps rinse down the surface while you're washing it. Hello, Mr. Moo. Do you guys want to have a look at that that invoice that I did for this job then? Because this job was quite an interesting one, because the chap, I'm going to have to take his details off. The chap took his car to Toyota, paid 340 quid for a service, and then he came home and it started dripping oil onto his drive. And so they came out and tried to clean it. Didn't do a very good job. And then he complained to the manager. And he said, get 3 quotes to get the driveway cleaned and we'll pay for it. And literally within a day of sending my quote, they called me and said, we've sent you the money. Can you get in contact with the customer and organise a date to clean the drive? So that was pretty crazy. Literally sent me the money within a day. Wasn't cheap either. Let's find this invoice. It wasn't an invoice, it was a quote. I'm looking in the wrong folder. Just going to delete his information. Oh God. So there's my pricing on that job. So that's the drive. Oil, there was an oil stain up here. And then there's an oil stain on the tarmac in the middle of the road outside. Hope that's helpful to someone. That's the quote you did live last week. No, that's a different one. That quote got accepted, by the way. Vermin, welcome. That quote we did last week got accepted by the customer. He just needs to figure out a date because he's planning on getting a skip for some, I think, I can't remember what he said, but he's getting back to me on it. But he's happy with the price. So I'd say that was a success. Even though he's not booked in yet, I think he will. He will book in at some point. What boots do you use? I just use some wellies. I don't even know. They're too big for me, to be honest. They're not comfortable. I'd like some posh boots. I've seen some tree surgery boots. They're fancy ones though. They're called Husqvarnas or something. Husqvarnas. But they're like big orange wellies. These, they're like that. How do you spell that? Husqvarna. Husk. Because they're orange, so they match my van. I'm sure they look like this or that. These were the ones. Chainsaw safety boots, but I think they're also waterproof. Something like that. Because they just match the colour of my logo. I saw them at a farm shop the other day and I really liked them. I think they're about 70 quid. But I'm tight, so I just didn't pull the trigger. I didn't buy them. Because I'm tight. Sorry, Daniel, I'll get to yours in just a second, sorry. Are they, yeah, they are. Are there any comfy wellies out there? I've only ever used one pair of wellies. And they're not comfortable. They've got literally no lining inside. There's nothing inside. It's just the edge of a welly. And they're so hard. And they're probably too big for me. Thanks, Mr. Moo. How long do you give people to pay? Have you had lots of non-payers? Have you had any non-payers? I give people 7 days to pay. People are normally very good. The worst people to pay are commercial jobs. They'll pay whenever they feel like it. I did some gutters on a school, and it took them, I think it was 3.5 weeks to pay after the last job was complete. So we started work, so probably in total over 4 weeks it took them to pay. Schools, they'll do their invoicing whenever they decide to do it, and it's common with a lot of commercial companies, big commercial jobs. They've got their finance department and they've got the way they do stuff, so they don't care what your terms are. They do stuff their way because that's what they've facilitated with the people they've employed and the training they've given. They might make an exception if you call them and badger them. But I literally sent my invoice in, and the chap I sent it to went on holiday for 2 weeks, and it just sat in his emails. And so I called them and chased it up. They said, "Oh, he's on holiday. Do you want to send it through to me?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, nice." Sorry, just joined. What product did you use for the oil? So I used a product that I've not used before. It was okay. It's not necessarily designed for oil stain removal, but it is a commercial degreaser. It worked well, to be fair. Considering I diluted it 50-50 as well. I use this, Synergy Clean Pro. The reason I use this is because this is my new go-to for gutters, fascias and soffits. And it also acts as like a degreaser as well. They recommend that you use Synergy Clean Pro for the oil stain, and then Oil Remover Pro for the clouding that it will probably inevitably leave. This stuff, yeah, you want to get the majority of it off with the Synergy because it's cheaper. This only comes in 1 litre and it's 32 quid. What was I saying? Yeah, these two. What was I saying? So you can get 25 litres of this for 58 quid. Or 20 litres, sorry, 58 quid. But that's like really versatile. You can use it on loads of different stuff. And I think it said, I think I saw someone say that you shouldn't use this on tarmac, but I used it on my drive, and I used it on the tarmac out the front of this property before I knew. And it worked brilliantly with one application. The oil was almost gone. It didn't work as well on the blocks. So I don't know why you shouldn't use it on tarmac, because it's worked great both times for me. So yeah, that's all right. Most commercial assume 30 days payment terms. I know that from my day job. Okay, fair enough, Comet. Yeah, I mean, that does make sense, to be fair. It's just that when you run a small business and you've spent like a week, up to a week doing this massive job. This is a big job for you because you're a small business. And it's a lot of money. You're relying on that money. Cash flow when you're a small business is so difficult to keep on top of, especially when it's in the hands of someone else. Any tips for decking? Tackled my first decking this weekend. Light rinse, biocide. It never does come up well. If it's been treated or stained or painted, it's going to be bad. But even if you pressure wash it closely, it's going to take a long time. Decking takes way longer to pressure wash properly than any other surface. And even if you pressure wash it properly, you're still not going to get all the green out from the grain of the wood, and so you'll need to do a post-treatment of biocide, and that will get rid of that green, brighten it up over the next couple of months, and it will prevent that green from coming back. Hi Mitchell. Are there any training courses or accreditations that I can benefit from, so I can get those fancy stickers on the back of my van to look more professional? Yeah, so I went on the Pure Seal approved applicator course. So I've done module 1, driveway and stone restoration. Which I think it's just those dates that they're not running at the moment. I think they've started running module 2. Yeah, when you're doing decking, you've got to manage the customer's expectations. People, I've had a few people come to me with advice. They've sent me pictures of the decking they've just cleaned. I said I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it clean. It's very common. So yeah, light rinse. Don't go too crazy with it. If you go too closely, you're going to leave lines. So light rinse with the fan jet or a surface cleaner on low pressure, and then let the chemicals do the work. Pure Seal sell a product called Deck Clean Pro, which I think is a biocide, but people seem to get results on the same day. Part cleaner and brightener designed for decking and timber. Yeah, fast acting formula. So this would probably, because you can get fairly quick results from sodium hypochlorite if you use hypo on decking. If it's not been treated or stained, it will really brighten it up very quickly. The only problem with that is you're bleaching the wood. Whereas if you use biocide, you're not bleaching the wood, you're just restoring it to its natural colour. So this Deck Clean Pro gives you quick result. I've never used it, by the way. It gives you quick results. I'm wondering if it's using a combination of hypo and biocide, but I've seen the results of this stuff and it looks insane. Like, it does look very good. Look at that. You'd be so pleased if you were a customer. I love the look of fresh wood. Unstained, natural, fresh wood. How pleased would you be if you was that customer? I don't know what's in it, but all the before and after pictures of people using Deck Clean Pro have always looked like this. They look fantastic. How much do you get? Product is supplied with 2 4 litres of part A and 1 12 litres of part B. Empty them both into the bucket and then add part B. So you're mixing it on site That's it. That's intriguing. That is. So in total, you've got. I don't even want to do the maths. But that's cool. I'd like to try that product actually. My next decking job, I'll probably order some of this. And the thing with Pure Seal as well, when you order stuff, especially when you got like an expensive order, look, you earn 132 points, and I think that translates into I'll get £13.20 off my next order. I think that's what that means. And it really does help. Every time I buy something, I'm always getting like a discount, like a large chunky discount from my next order. It at least pays for the postage plus some, which is nice. Said I'd go back and buy a side. Yep, I'd recommend. Left lots of lines. So the lines are if you're too close and you're stopping halfway down a panel, you need to do long continuous streaks and try not to stop. And if you do have to stop, you need to feather outwards, feather up, so you're not leaving a harsh line. It's very difficult. I don't like cleaning decking. It was old and grey. Is there a maximum distance that you would travel for a job, or do you just stay local? I tell people, they say, "What will you travel?" Because from my TikTok, on my YouTube, on my Facebook, I get people asking me to quote from down in London, up in Scotland, Wales. I've done some jobs in Wales. I've done 2 jobs in Stevenage. I always say, if the job is worth the travel, if you're willing to pay me to travel to do this job because you specifically want me, then I'm happy to do that. I will always add my time to travel and the cost of the fuel, and if they're willing to pay that, then that's fine. You could do 45p a mile, but then you're just covering your fuel. You're not covering the 2-hour, 3-hour journey or the 6-hour round trip. So you've always got to account for your time when you're traveling as well. Might do the Pure Seal course. I think they've moved it from Nantwich, but Nantwich, I'm pretty sure, is where Pure Seal are based, or they're based just down the road anyway. You're very welcome, David. I'm very uncomfortable. My back's killing. Should I be concerned about the large number of companies that already exist in my area? There's plenty of money around. There's plenty of bread for everyone. Plenty of pieces for the pie, in my opinion. I've not taken any notice of what people are doing around me. I actually got an offer from a large company over in Bromsgrove, which is the next town over. They do loads of work. I follow them on Facebook and they're always posting. They've got like 3 vans, 3 trailers. They do all sorts. And I sent them a couple of jobs because I couldn't fit them in, or they were a bit far and they weren't really worth it for me, but they might have been worth it for one of their gangs. And they said, oh, do you want to, we've been following your work and whatever, do you want to come and meet the team? Do you want to pop in and say hello? So that was nice. 132 quid. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if the customer's willing to pay for it, then you can show them these results. Because you're not paying for it, your customer is. Then it's up to them, isn't it? But I mean, that is a hell of a transformation. I've never done decking that's come up that well. So it's all about value, isn't it? Right, I'm going to start wrapping this up now, guys. Should we say 8 more minutes? I'll finish at 11 o'clock. So if you guys have got any last minute questions, anything you want to go through, please watch my new video that was posted today. If any of you guys want to support the channel, the best way that I could ask you to help is just by watching the videos, watching adverts. There's a link to tip below to support the stream. You can become a paid member of the channel by just joining the channel. I think that's in the description as well, and it all helps me. If you guys have got anything from these live streams or from my videos, and you would like to contribute in some way and help me carry on doing this sort of stuff, because I enjoy it as well. So it's very encouraging when I get good feedback from you lot, nice comments on the videos. Yeah, the easiest way to contribute is to just like and comment on my videos, because then the algorithm will pick them up and it will push it to more viewers and stuff. I use back 50 on wood after cleaning, always looks great a week later. Yeah, I think I just did back 50 on some decking last week, Saturday. Don't normally work Saturdays, but it was for my cousin on that big bungalow I cleaned the other day. There's a window cleaner around the corner from me that does pressure washing. If he sees my van, it'll be like that scene from Anchorman, when they fight the other new crew. Yeah, I've always had a bit of an issue with that. If I see window cleaners or pressure washers, I tend to toot my horn and wave, because I don't understand the competitive nature of some businesses like that. Like, there's enough to go around. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of people willing to spend money. And if you offer a good service, I don't know, like, I'm happy recommending other businesses. If someone thinks, not that this happens often, but if someone thinks that I've quoted too high, I'll say, oh, no worries. If it's more than you wanted to pay, here's the details for another business that's further down the road. They might be able to quote it for you as well. They might be able to do it a bit cheaper. Like, it doesn't matter if you're focusing on yourself. I don't understand it. There's window cleaners. Window cleaners are weird, man. There's people that set other people's vans on fire and pop their tires and all sorts. I saw pictures of some stuff in the window cleaning page the other week. It was ice cream trucks. That was it. 3 ice cream trucks had been set on fire because they were on someone else's patch. I hate that as well. This is my patch. If someone come up to me and said, "This is my patch, what are you doing here?" I would laugh in their face. I would just be like, "Are we in the playground? Like, what are you talking about, your patch?" It's such a strange mindset. I don't know whether it's because I've been listening to too much Joe Rogan, but like, it's like the what's the mindset called? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's the... Oh, God. Thanks for this evening. Now for Yellowstone. What do you mean now for Yellowstone? Are you heading off? I'm heading off, aren't I? Now for Yellowstone. That's all good, Shane. No worries. I'm glad you guys are benefiting from it. Thank you for being transparent and open. No worries. Thank you guys for watching. It begins with F. It's the famine mentality. Famine mentality. Where it's like there's not enough for us all. So you're not allowed to be on my patch. Because you're affecting how much I'm allowed to earn. It's like, no. You wouldn't have even got this job. It's like they've contacted me because I was the first person that popped up on the list. They might have contacted someone on the next town over. And you'd be having exactly the same conversation with them. It's like people find people through different avenues. It's like, this is my nan's house. What do you mean this is your patch? This is my nan. Paramount TV show. Now for Yellowstone. Are you from the US? Sorry, I'm not following. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Been a huge help. Thank you. No worries, Comet. Thanks a lot for the helpful stuff as always. James, you're very welcome. Emir, no worries. Right, guys, I'm going to head off. Thank you so much for watching. Have a very good one. See you all soon. Bye.